This looks like the place we were supposed to meet. Remember, keep this on the down low. And don't talk to anyone suspicious.
Hey, are you the Obscura boss we were supposed to meet here?
Oi, do I look like a sphinx to you?
Come to think about it, you kind of look like a Halo dealer. You got any?
Piss off.
A simple no would have worked. Jeez.
It's quiet here. A little too quiet.
What are you talking about? We're surrounded by people. Lots of people. Loudly talking.
I don't know, man. I just always wanted to say that. You're such a buzzkill.
Hey, I say, hey, boys. I say, hey, boys. Over here in the dark alley. Oh, hey, there's Mr. Layjet. Fancy meeting him at our secret business meeting.
He's the one who set it up, remember? We're coming here to meet him here, remember?
No?
Never mind. Let's just get out of this crowd.
Yeah, over there in that alley, it looks pretty quiet. A little too quiet.
Okay, boys, this is a big deal, I say. Your boys are in over your heads. I got a meeting like I said I would, but it's hard to know who's going to show up. Might be that big Sphinx herself, or be someone lower. We're meeting in that there warehouse. Let's hurry, you hear? Wow, this is a really nice warehouse you got going on and everything. I'm glad you found your way here safely. Rafine sends her best regards and is sorry she could not make it. Ah, okay. So Mr. Layjet said things were dangerous. She probably didn't want to risk it. That is indeed true. Some powerful faction not affiliated with any family has been asking about you three. In fact, you've proven to be either very adept at deception and covering your tracks, or you three are very, very stupid, which has made you unpredictable. Yeah, it's the latter.
Hey, come on, man. It's definitely the former. You know, I don't know how your fancy words work or anything, but it's definitely that we are adept at being unpredictable.
Silence! Rafine suggests you three lay very, very low until she can find out more about this new faction.
So, you don't want the portal?
We thought we were going to trade the portal for some Halo, and maybe our lives. Rafine does not want your portal or your lives. Where do we stand on the Halo, though? We are done here. If you don't keep your heads down, they will find you and very likely kill you.
Did she just disappear into a cloud of smoke? Welcome to another episode of Magic Proving Grounds, the only Magic the Gathering podcast that proves you can forget about something for 28 years and still make money off it, so long as you stick them in collector booster packs. How's everybody doing today?
So what you're saying is I should buy a bunch of boxes now, and they might be worth something later. Haven't people been doing this for a while, just on a personal level, not by thousands of cases?
I mean, yeah, I guess. It's a thing that people do.
Get them double master collector boxes.
I don't think those 4-packs are going to go up in value.
You'd be surprised.
So, I'm your host, Moderator Dave, and I have with me this week...
I'm Ben. I just talked.
And then also, I assume on the line with us is other Dave.
Not here.
Uh-oh. So, I'm glad you're back. I had a weird thing happen at the last in last week's episode. Kind of worried about you there for a second.
Well, I am okay. Some people aggressively took me to buy comic books.
Oh, damn.
I was held against my will and forced to buy comic books.
I hate when that happens.
That must have been quite the sight. A bunch of comic book nerds struggling over trying to drag you out of your room. Like, ah! Anyways, other than being kidnapped to buy comic books, what have y'all been doing this week?
No, I've been playing some more paper Magic. Stuck in a modern rut right now, trying to find a deck that is interesting enough for me to play with cards that I already have, so I don't have to buy a whole bunch of stuff. Been working on just a junk pile for Jund, like I don't have like the Wrenn and Sixes and things like that. So I've just been kind of throwing some stuff together and trying some things out. Goldfish in some hands, kind of doing that. Jund isn't in a good place in Modern.
It isn't?
Not really.
It isn't because you don't have the right cards.
Oh, yeah, that's it. Well,
then the Jund is in a fine place in Modern. It's just you.
Yeah, well, correct.
Don't shit on Jund because you don't have the right cards.
Well, I think even if I had the right cards, it wouldn't be in the best place. But yeah, without the cards, it's especially dire.
And so what is dominating your store's Modern meta game?
Oh, that's a good question. We actually have a kind of a varied store meta. People play different decks each week, so it's kind of hard to nail a sideboard down. That's kind of the worst.
Hold up. You know people that can afford more than one Modern deck?
Yeah. I think they've been playing for a while from what I gather. But we got a couple Tron people. We got a Death Shadow guy. We have this really cool guy that he plays like different combo decks every week, and it seems like every week he's got a different like combo strategy that he's playing.
I bet if Ben sold the cards he doesn't use and bought cards he would use, he would have multiple Modern decks.
Yes.
That's just because he has a billion cards.
And I don't have that. I would have more than, yes. But yeah, so it's a nice little varied. It's not super huge, but it is varied. And it's nice. Azorius Control, there's a hammer.
How's Azorius Control do?
Usually good, but the guy that plays it is a really good Magic player. So I don't know if it's just that he's really good or the deck is especially good.
Curious. I felt like Control has been in a bad place in Modern for a very long time. So
yeah, sometimes they do a 4-color Yorion 80-card pile variation there, but the 60-card one does well. He does well with that. So, a Yawgmoth deck. There's one of those. Anyway, I could list them forever, but
Cool. Well, what have you been up to other days?
This whole podcast is just going to be Ben listing Modern decks.
yeah,
Welcome to the Proving Grounds.
It's that scene from Forrest Gump where Bubba's listing all the shrimp recipes that he knows.
Yeah, it's kind of like that. Yes.
Anyways, what have you been up to, other Dave?
So I've been hankering to play something different because that white standard deck, although it's called aggro, it doesn't feel aggro-y to me. It just hasn't really been suiting my play style. So I've built a aggro deck for Historic. And I have been playing that a lot. Been really enjoying that. I have. It's also nice too because like the white matches take a long time, which doesn't feel like aggro either. And these red matches, I've just been burning through them. Like I can play like 10 of them in an hour.
Yeah. Oh, it's a red aggro deck.
Oh yeah.
Oh, aggro all the time, baby.
Yeah, I've said before. The key to being good in aggro is how you apply pressure to your opponents and force them to make bad decisions. And this deck's all about making people make bad decisions.
You using the what is it, the dwarf guy, Torbor?
Yeah, Torbern's in there.
Yeah, he's pretty cool. I like him.
The card that I have really been liking, actually, which surprised me, is the Roiling Vortex. For those of you who don't know, it's 1 red, 1 colorless. It's an enchantment. At the beginning of each player's upkeep, it deals damage to them. And then if a player casts a spell that costs 0 or they don't pay anything for it, they take 5 damage. And you can also pay 1 red and your opponents can't gain life this turn.
Oh, is that relevant in Historic?
It is.
Life gain?
With the Angel deck and the life gain, the Heliod life gain deck, and even just against Azorius Control with Absorb.
Yeah. That prevent the life gain. That's hot.
And that other effect too shuts down the Arcanist decks. If they cast a spell without paying mana for it, it does 5 damage to them because they can't cast the spells out of their graveyard with Arcanist.
Really puts a 1,000-year storm on the ropes. Is that a deck in Historic? It should be. Sick. Well, if anybody's interested in looking at your deck list for best of 1, I went ahead and put it on Mox Field. So
when I have more wild cards, I'll probably build a sideboard and make a best of 3 version of it. It cost all of my rare wild cards to make that. So
nice. Well, it's a good deck. I like it. Looks good. Might make it myself.
You should. I also love Robber of the Rich. I think that's my favorite card that's been printed recently.
Robber of the Rich. Yeah. I've never heard this card name.
What?
Yeah, I mean, I wasn't playing during. Is it Eldraine?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh man, it's my jam.
You're gonna have to read him the card now.
Yeah. So it's 1 red, 1 colorless. He's a 2/2, haste and reach. Whenever he attacks, if you have less cards in your hand than your opponent, you exile the top card of your opponent's library, and you may play that card until the end of turn. Or any card exiled by Robber of the Rich until the end of turn. So even cards you've exiled in past turns, you could play again. You can spend mana as though it were mana of any color to cast those spells.
Wow.
It's Robin Hood, man.
Yeah.
Pretty good flavor.
Because they have a full hand and you don't. So that's the rich part. Huh. That's cool.
And it's a human archer rogue.
Yeah, he's definitely Robin Hood.
Yeah, he's a lot of fun. Anytime I can use my opponent's spells against him.
So he's like upside down monkey, but for hands instead of combat damage.
Upside down monkey.
Yeah, because in the art, he's
upside down. Okay, so
here I am thinking you were talking about Stranger Things or something.
Yes,
I was like, "There's a monkey in the upside down."
I mean, there probably will be at some point.
Anyways,
you heard it here first, gentlemen.
On the
this is now Stranger Things speculation podcast.
Okay, so what have I been doing this week? I'm glad you asked.
We didn't.
We didn't. We don't care.
Okay,
just kidding.
Go cry in the shower then.
Wasn't that what you were doing this week?
Yeah,
crying in the shower.
Crying in the shower. You guys don't cry in the shower. Anyways, no, I did some Baldur's Gate quick drafts. Did the one that they were doing for free like last week for the Mid-Magic thing. And then played another one. And then at the end of that one, I was like, I don't like this. It was good when I was doing it for free, but having to pay gold to do this makes me sad. So I stopped doing it after that. I don't know. I think that the friggin' it's a lot. Some of the alchemy cards that do the perpetual effects and stuff. There's a lot going on. I don't know.
That was the draft I tried to do on my phone, and I was just like, there's a lot of stuff here to read, and it's really hard to read all these cards on my phone before time starts to run out.
Yeah, it was like, I don't know. Maybe if I played a little bit more, I'd stay away from some of the traps. But there's just so much going on, and then there's a kobold that gives, when you tap it, you can give a creature card in hand, perpetual haste.
Yeah, he's pretty good.
Yeah, it's cool, but like, do you tap them to get a card out, or do you attack with them? And there's like, it's a lot. So I don't know. Didn't win any games that round, which is very sad. But that was pretty good. That's basically all I've been doing. I've been farming drafts because I'm trying to get enough gems to get the new anthology stuff that's coming out at the end of the week. So I think I'll be able to get one set probably right off the bat, which is what I have on hand. So
are you going to get the one or the other?
Well, we can talk about that when we talk about the other, the news.
All right.
So
segue
into the news. So apparently some stuff got lost 28 years ago.
You're supposed to segue into the historic anthology.
Oh, is that how that works?
Yeah.
I can't do it. It's written up differently on the notes.
Oh, okay.
Okay. So, as promised,
man, go off script one time.
I can't do it, man. As promised, the Explorer and Historic anthologies are being released on the 28th of July. That's checks calendar. That's tomorrow.
Yeah.
So,
Probably not tomorrow when you listen to this, but
yes, we're recording on the 27th. If you didn't get
they
that,
could figure that out.
You don't know how time works. Okay. So, what we know for a fact is going to be in the anthologies thus far was released in a update article last week when they announced the sets were coming out on the 28th. Which do you want to go over the Explorer?
Sure.
It's not speculation.
Yes. All right. So what they've released so far is 3 cards officially: Favored Hoplite, Supreme Verdict, and Kalitas, Traitor to Get. 2 of these 3 cards are big Pioneer cards. The Favored Hoplite is more, I guess, not so much used in meta, but is a fun card to mess around with.
Mm-hmm.
It's 1 white, 1/2 creature, human soldier. It has heroic. Whenever you cast a spell that targets Favored Hoplite, put a 1/1 counter on it and prevent all damage that would be dealt to it this turn. I mean, it's not a bad card. I haven't seen it in too many. White's not a really good deck in Pioneer, but maybe something like a Hoplite would be more relevant in Explorer based on the meta. But the other 2 are actually really good gets for Pioneer fans. Supreme Verdict. It's really good sweeper card. I'll read it here. Yeah. It's 1 white or 2 white, or it's a blue, 2 white, and 1 colorless. Supreme Verdict can't be countered. Destroy all creatures. So it's like a Wrath of God with a splash of blue. It's definitely used in the Azorius control deck as a very, and you should with this card in there, you should see it rise up to power, because one of the problems it has is creature interaction. So having a sweeper makes it so before it gets overwhelmed, because like the Azorius control deck in Pioneer takes a while to kind of set up, much like any Azorius control deck. It needs time to get set up, and if it gets overwhelmed, then it'll lose. So this helps it so it won't get there. So this should be a big get there. And the next card, Kalitas, Traitor to Get. Is it of or 2?
2.
It's of. Anyway,
2
black, 2 colorless. It's a 3/4 legendary creature, vampire warrior. It has lifelink. If a non-token creature an opponent controls would die, instead exile that card and put a 2/2 black zombie creature token onto the battlefield. You can pay 1 black and 2 colorless to sacrifice another vampire zombie. Put 2 1/1 counters on Kalitas, Traitor of Get. This is used mostly in the black and red Rakdos mid-range deck. Yeah, it's a very powerful card in that deck. It's kind of key to the strategy a little bit. They don't usually run 4 of or anything. I think they do 1 or 2 or sometimes 3, I guess. But the idea is that deck's really heavy on killing creatures, so Kalitas will prevent them from dying, and you just get a black zombie. Well, they die, but you get a black zombie also, so it's like a 2-for-1, adding value to your destruction. So this should make them happy as well.
Nice. Do you want to go? Well, I guess I'll explain the speculation, then I'll go over the speculation first.
Sure.
So for the last couple of days, the Wizards Arena account on Twitter has been releasing advertisements for the anthologies featuring art from specific cards. So while this is just speculation, I don't see that Wizards would troll everybody by advertising the anthology sets with card art that is not actually in them.
Right.
So we have, at time of recording, 3 additional cards for each set. That is, air quotes, speculation, but I mean, let's be real. So I'll go over them for anthology. So the first card that is speculation at this point is Teamer Battle Rage. We won't go over the specific cards just because they're speculation.
Yeah, I don't want to get your hopes up.
Don't want to get your hopes up. So Teamer Battle Rage, Elvis Mystic, and Mausoleum Wanderer will be in the Explorer Anthology.
Mm-hmm.
And then we'll move on to Historic. So the speculation cards for Historic are Chalice of the Void, Ophiomancer. Am I saying that one right? Probably.
Mm-hmm.
I was going to pawn these ones off on somebody else. And then Leela, the Blade Reforged. How about you take the actual announced cards for Historic? Other Dave?
Yeah, okay. That would be Tarmogoyf, which is, as you know, a staple in just about everything at this point. Ovation Angel of Hope, and Go Shentai of Life's Origin.
What modern decks, since this is what we have to go on, is Tarmogoyf really popular in their Ben?
John?
Do you have some Tarmogoyfs in your Junkie Jund deck?
I do. And it's still a good card. It's just, it's not that good in Modern with the power level. I mean...
So the pattern level and the power level in Modern is so much higher now that this card that used to be worth like your firstborn child is now not that good.
Yeah, it's yeah. Right, wow. Exactly. It's not like, again, it's not a bad card, and it might do better in Historic than it does in Modern, but it's hardly played in Modern except in that Jund deck. So we'll see. I am excited that it's on there. I'm not poo-pooing it. It's just kind of funny. It's like, oh, the Goyf. He is an iconic.
Sounds like poo-pooing to me.
He is an iconic Magic guy or creature.
What about these other two cards? What do you think decks they might go in for Historic? Either you or Dave. Other Dave.
I'll let you take that one, Dave, if you have an idea, because I don't know enough about Historic. Like, I know Avacyn's used in like an Indomitable Creativity deck, I think, or it's some combo deck, some Cascade deck, or something there.
Well, I do feel like Tarmogoyf, despite it having died some in Modern, I do feel like it probably has an impact in Historic, because Historic doesn't have all the fancy things that Modern does.
And Unholy Heat is only 4 at max, too, so that'll help Tarmogoyf.
Tarmogoyf is going to be kind of hard to kill in Historic.
Right. In Modern, it's just like, oh, you got that? Okay, death. It's dead. Mm-hmm. And I think that's why it's harder to play.
Avacyn is a cool card, but it's too top end to fit in the current Angel deck in Historic. They don't typically make it to 8 mana to drop Avacyn. Maybe there's a reanimation deck that it fits into, but I haven't seen a lot of those recently.
Yeah, some way to cheat her in would probably be the only viable way.
Yeah, so I think unless... don't get me wrong, if you cheat her in, you're in really good shape, so maybe we start seeing some more of those. But right now, at least with the decks that are currently being played, I don't think Avacyn has a place, but you could build something around her, or around the idea of bringing her back.
What about the Go Shentai of Life's Origins? Where do you see this card?
I mean, it's a shrine card, and so it has to go in shrine decks.
Yeah, it's going to go in the shrine deck. Well, that's the easy answer. Is that the only answer, though?
Yes.
Well, okay.
I mean, I can't think of anything. I guess because you have to be 5 colors to really use it.
Right.
And so it's not like you can just throw it into the white-blue enchant deck that's in Historic right now. It's not like you can just throw it into really any of the decks, because the only 5-color deck that I've seen is Humans, and Humans does not need to bring enchantments back from the graveyard.
Yeah, I think this is a weird inclusion into Historic. I mean, it is a Kamigawa Neon Dynasty Commander card. I thought it might have been original Kamigawa block, but it is not. It's just a weird thing. They must be trying to push a shrine agenda.
Yeah.
Just because a card's in there doesn't mean that they're trying to push something. They can't just put out 25 bangers. Yeah, there's got to be some things in there.
Man. But it would be so much better if they did.
Right, but there's got to be some things in there that are like combo pieces and stuff for other players. And this feels like one of those things that's like, hey, if you want to play shrines, this is going to be great for you.
Right.
Otherwise, you probably don't care. But it is great in a shrine deck. I mean, if you're building shrines, that's the card.
Yeah, this ties all. It's like if you were mailing a commander deck for shrines, this would be your commander.
Actually, it's Brawl in Arena.
Oh, it couldn't be. It couldn't be your commander because it's only green. I was thrown off by the paying one of each mana to do something. But anyway.
No, it can't be a commander because it's not a creature. Is it a creature?
It is.
It is a creature.
Oh.
It's a legendary enchantment creature.
Very cool. I'm excited to see what else they bring.
Oh, man. I'm hoping for Nick's Shrine to Nykthos. But with releasing Elvish Mystic and Explorer, that's still going to put that mono green deck into a good place because you'll have 8 Llanowar Elves, which is half the reason why that ramps. The other half is Nykthos.
Nice. I'm still hoping for Monastery Swiftspear.
Oh, yeah.
Though,
I still think that's going to be in this one. It has to be in this one.
Yeah. They just released in 2x2. Yeah, sorry.
Yeah. If it's not, it's because it's going to be in Dominaria United.
But
That's my hot take. Because
I guess they can have monasteries on Dominaria. It doesn't have to be a con.
Now this is going into spoilers for Dominaria. We said we weren't going to do. But here's my hot take. The Jaya Ballard Planeswalker card makes 1/1 monk creatures.
Oh.
If it doesn't end up in Explorer Anthology 1, it's because it's going to be in that set.
No.
That's my hot prediction. Write that down. But, I'm hopeful. I'd like to get it a couple months early. You guys have anything else you want to say about these anthologies?
No, I think it's a good thing. I'm glad they're doing them. They'll have the full list out later today, I think.
Unfortunately, we record in the morning, so. Anyways, so they probably ain't even awake on the Pacific Coast yet.
Oh yeah, that's probably true. Dang it.
Narbit. Okay, so we're going to move on to the most interesting.
I'm sorry, what was that? Did you say Darb Narbit?
Dog Narbit.
Dog Narbit.
Dog Narbit.
He says it a different way every time. I'm not sure what he's saying.
Yosemite Sam,
Yes.
The most interesting bit of news from this week, in my personal opinion, was...
Is Darg Narbit?
Yes. Yosemite Sam's catchphrases.
Yeah. His multiple catchphrases.
His cartoon swearing. Anyways, so... Lost Legends. You guys hear about this?
No, tell me about Lost Legends. Sounds like a video game.
You just... Oh, sorry. just Ben's whole tone there is just like, yes, I've heard of it, but no, I haven't.
For the sake of
the bit.
Yes.
I legitimately have no idea what this is. I have not.
Sweet.
Paying attention.
Oh, we're going to get a live reaction.
We're going to get a live reaction. Nice.
Yeah.
So
I know, other than the fact that you guys have mentioned the words Lost Legend in pre-production and said that it's the biggest news of the week. So I guess I have some high expectations.
Well, I'll explain it to you. 28 years ago, somebody put a bunch of booster boxes of the set Legends. You're familiar with that set, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Great set. In a warehouse, and then immediately forgot about them. And they sat there for a very long time until Wizards is like, hey, we've been paying for storage place in this warehouse out in the middle of nowhere. we should probably stop doing that. Somebody should go see what's in that warehouse. So they sent some people to the warehouse to clear it out and see what was actually in it because nobody knew. And what they found was just a giant stash of Legend booster boxes. And then, in order to celebrate the release, the 30th anniversary of Magic and the release of Dominaria United, they decided to do something that I think is pretty interesting, which is they've unwrapped all the boosters. I assume sorted all the cards, and then they're putting them in collector boosters for Dominaria United. So, every collector booster you open, there's a Legends card that you'll be getting out of it, chance for a Legends card.
Yeah, a chance. It's a 3% chance.
It's a 3% chance.
Because, I mean, they only had a finite amount of cards to put in them, so it worked out to about a 3% chance.
3% chance. So, I think this is hella cool. Is it the best news of the week, Other Dave?
I mean, yeah. Yes, it is certainly the best news of the week. So,
you have questions.
I'm just trying to remember what all high value cards were in that
I have
set.
it pulled up here.
Oh, well, cool. I don't have to try and look shit up. Awesome.
So the big one's the Tabernacle at Pendrell Vale. It's not been reprinted. It's a $4,000 card.
Jeez.
How many cards are in this set total? Is it a 300 card set?
Yeah, it's a big one. 310. So caveat being, in that 3% chance, you could get a rare of some value, or you could get a 28 cent. Well, maybe it doesn't go down that low. It goes down to, it does. It goes down to 42 cents.
Hey, man.
So yes, the 3% chance to get, 1 out of 300 card. Okay.
Yeah.
Continue.
Running the whole gamut. Yeah. So the thing about this value is the top end is really, really high and the bottom end is really low. But the top end,
it's a lot of gambling.
Right.
What you're saying.
Yes, essentially. If you're buying them to get these cards, you're probably going to be disappointed. However, I will say that there are a lot of cards with value over $20 still. I haven't done all of the math. And then quite a few with over $100.
Well, do all of the math.
Well,
do all the math. You have to. Well, here's the deal, and I'll bring this up right now.
What are you here for if it's not math?
Listen, I'm like Han Solo. I never tell him the odds. I'm not going to tell you the odds of getting
the Magic finance guy. Okay. You also have to factor into the equation that Legends, the set had a collation problem. So there ended up being a situation where some booster boxes didn't have particular cards in them, like ever.
Mm-hmm.
At this point, when they opened up all the boxes, they just didn't open up a handful of cards. Well, it's actually kind of a mighty list of cards because of that collation issue. So included, if you're interested, because I'm not going to read them all, in the link to the article is a list of cards you will not be opening because of collation issues. And also, there's a list of cards that you will not be opening because of, they didn't state this outright, but insensitivity issues. As you know, I'm sure, if you followed the news at the beginning of the year, Provoke, what's the name of that friggin' racist card?
Injustice?
Provoke Injustice? Is that it? No. Anyways, it's the Super Nazi card. Came out in this set.
Prejudice.
Yeah.
Yeah. Prejudice.
Yeah. So
it's Invoke, isn't it? Invoke Prejudice?
Yeah. Invoke, yeah. Anyways,
that's what was throwing me off. I was like, Provoke.
You will not be getting the Super Nazi card. It looks like they're excluding all art that particular Super Nazi artist did for that set.
That's
and
good.
Then there's other cards.
I mean, that guy is exactly what he draws.
Yeah, it's not like somebody just saying, I disagree with this guy, that makes him a Nazi. He's like literally.
Yeah.
a neo-Nazi. Anyways.
Oh, wow. When you go to the article and hover over these cards that aren't in there, and it shows the art until you get to that card, and it says, we have removed this image from our database. Great.
Yep.
That's awesome, because it's really bad.
It is.
Oh, man.
All the racist cards have been cleaned out of Gatherer, and they just have that card image.
Mm-hmm.
Every once in a while, too, that guy comes out and talks about how that card is not racist.
Okay.
I'm just like, it's literally Ku Klux Klan members with an axe. Like, what are you talking about?
And
There's no way.
and shit, man. Anyways, so there's also a handful of other cards that were cut for insensitivity issues. I'm assuming this is speculation on my part, but Craw Giant, if you'll notice, is on that list. And you're like, what's wrong with Craw Giant? It's not a on the surface bad card. It was illustrated by Christopher Roach.
Racist against crawfish?
No, just pull it up. I'm not gonna tell. It's in the flavor text. Just read the flavor text. You'll get it.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna, because I was like, I
don't want to do research.
Well, I spent 15 minutes trying to figure out why that was on the list, and then I read the flavor text. I was like, oh, there you go.
Yeah.
I get it now.
It's a non-PC term in the flavor text.
Yeah. Anyways, we'll move on.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're like, you looked it up.
So what this does mean, having this exclusion list and the fact that they're showing the art, that they did open a tabernacle at Pendrell Vale in that box, at least one. So, dun, dun, dun.
I think somebody opened one, or they didn't. They had a little video explaining what had happened when they released this.
Yeah, they
opened
them on the video.
They were opening stuff on camera. I don't know. People kept saying no tabernacle. So, but I think
other ones that I remember playing with or having or seeing, Eureka. That's Chains of Mephistopheles.
Oh man, Chains of Mephistopheles is a freaking sick card.
Concordant Crossroads. That card's broken.
This announcement gave me the major nostalgias, and I was looking at all the cards from Legends. I have to tell you,
we had a lot of these.
Serpent Generator, man.
Yeah.
I'm like, that card just hits me. It's like the coolest card when I was growing up.
Dude, Killer Bees, man. I had a ton of those. They're worth $50 now. Aww.
Any particular nostalgia gets for you, other Dave?
Not really.
No.
Like the one memory I had when I saw the Chains of Mephistopheles is that there was a guy I played Magic with at the college, the first time I went to college, who played a deck that had one of those in that, and he played without sleeves, and it used to bother me so much.
Like, dude, I'll get you some sleeves. Could you just put that as, sleeve that?
Wait oh man, Torwaki. They didn't find any Torwakis. They're literally making a new Torwaki card.
Yeah, he had just and it was every deck he had was old cards. I remember one time I was like, dude, is that an Alpha Fireball? And he's like, yeah. And I'm like, would you just put a sleeve on it?
He's like, nah.
I can't watch you play with an Alpha Fireball.
He's
just grubbing it around.
Memeing at that point. He's like, gonna make people talk about
I
this.
think he actually did it on purpose to make people around him cringe. But I whatever, they're his cards. He can do what he wants with them. That's my memory though. Always when I see cards like Chains of Mephistopheles, it's like seeing him play it and be like, well, that should be in a sleeve.
Come on, man.
It's a $1,500 card now. I bet he is upset.
He probably isn't.
Was it worth it? Was the troll worth it?
Yeah, he probably sits around and goes, yeah, it was worth it.
Every minute.
Yeah, that's really sucks because I definitely had one of them cards. It's $1,500. That's insane.
We never had a Legends version of Serpent Generator, so I'm not too.
Yeah, I know he used to play Moat too, so Moat was also
$1,500.
Man, just put
a sleeve on it.
Yep. So that's a really cool thing. A couple things that I've been thinking about. I don't think this is really going to touch the price of these cards.
No.
There's just not enough of them going into rotation.
3% chance there just isn't enough of them.
Yeah. And the other thing is, I hope they don't have that problem with sealing the cards like they were having in what's that? Double Masters, where it would crimp the edge of the card. You know what I'm talking about? I hope they don't have that problem with these cards.
That would be rough. Although,
I will say this, while I don't think it overall affects the value of the cards, for like true collectors with graded cards, this could become a thing, because like it's not like there's a bunch of, high grade Legends cards floating out there right now.
Well, and I also,
one of these should, in theory, be a high grade version of the card, because they should have seen no play. They've been in a warehouse for 30 years, and then they're pulled fresh out of a pack.
Right. And I bet that if you are on it, the first week of release, you could probably get some of these more expensive cards for hundreds of dollars less, because somebody opens it and just wants money. You know what I mean? So they just like offloading it, undercutting every sale. So if you're a collector, you might
keep your eyes out.
Yeah, you might keep your eyes on. You might get something for cheaper, a really good quality too, or mint condition, near mint.
Yeah, if you're someone who traffics in graded cards, now you're real excited about this news.
y'all's hot take is that this isn't really going to affect prices of Legends cards overall. Just not enough
graded cards.
Yep.
That's it.
Except for graded cards, which that's an up. That's affecting prices going up. So, speaking of card prices, let's go on to this week's discussion. 5 episodes or so ago, we had some predictions about card values. This was before Double Masters 2 was completely spoiled. Oh. So we picked the most expensive card that we knew existed at the time, which was Wrenn and Six, and kind of guessed how its reprint would affect the secondary market. Now it's time to look up card prices, see who won, see who didn't. Is Dave still going to be the superior Dave, or am I going to win? That's the real question.
I mean, look, I'm okay losing prices right, seeing how much I beat you in actual Magic.
I got to take my wins where so I'll go over who said what, and then
I'm prepping the prices, yes.
Okay, so Ben said $300. Other Dave said $500. I said $1. Did we happen to write down what it costs when we made these predictions?
What cost?
There was no foil etched version.
Yeah.
That's fair.
So the actual Wrenn and Six at the time of recording was around $90 because it had fallen a little bit. It was at like 110, at 115 at max, but it had.
All I'm saying is now is the time to build Jund while it's down.
Yeah. It went up. It was down to like 60. Just the original, like the regular one, was like down to 60, and then now it's creeping up. I should have bought it, but okay. So here's the caveat I'm going to put on this bet. So they have, like we said, like, what's the difference between a textured foil and a foiled etched? Because we didn't know that this textured foil was going to be.
That's what I was going to say. Is we found out since then that. Because we picked what we thought would be the rarest form, and it was not.
So in the spirit, we have to kind of go off the textured foil, because that's the one that the most, because that was the spirit of what we were saying is what's the most expensive version.
I'll allow it.
Okay.
I make the rules here.
So what I am seeing around here, I mean, what do we want to use as a price? Because there's different vendors.
This was your bit, man. Come on.
I know. You want to just use the messed up price that's on Magic Goldfish?
What's messed up about it?
It's never actually, because it doesn't account for like specific vendors, like sellers that are just selling the card. It just gives you I don't know how they calculate it, but it's never really exact what it is.
I mean, what I'm seeing, it seems like by Price is Right rules, Ben has won.
Yeah, because I'm getting for that textured foil or 380 to 405.
Yeah. So I looked at recent eBay sales, because that was kind of what I figured would be a good judge of. And it's pretty much almost every one of them is between 300 and 400. There's one outlier that went for 445, but other than that, there's about 30 sales all between 300 and 400. No sales under 300 at all.
I guess Ben is the winner. I'll win one of these days.
I will say that Dave's prediction of $500, it will get there, I'm sure. Unless it's banned. But I don't see it being banned.
My caveat to this whole thing is that we did not declare it was Price is Right rules until after I had picked my
You
amount.
are true. That is true. We have imperative proof of that in the recording.
And so, like, I was kind of just like, oh, we're doing Price is Right rules? And I was like, well, I'm not. Okay, I guess.
So
I already said 500. So,
Look, just for future reference, it's always Price is Right rules.
yeah,
This is... Sorry, man.
I mean, Ben still would have won if I had realized it and I had stuck with 500. Although I don't know if I would have stuck with 500.
At Price is Right, you would have done 301.
No, I wouldn't have been that much of a. I probably would have done 400.
Yeah, that is still an insane price to pay for a card. It
really is.
That just
man.
got printed. I don't know. I mean, I'd pay that much for like a Volcanic Island or a Taiga or something, but like, holy moly, dude. Collectors, I guess.
They like to collect.
I like to use my cards personally.
I just buy the cheapest version.
Yeah. I would rather have a non-foil version of a card, to be completely honest.
It does look like that Wrenn and Six textured foil is the most expensive card in the set.
Oh, even over Imperial Seal?
The Imperial Seal foil etched is only selling for about $280 to $300.
Oh, wow. That really dropped in price. But I guess
Wow.
if you think about what it can be used in, Imperial Seal is basically just vintage, legacy, and commander.
It's
Yeah.
really a commander gift.
Yeah, it's a commander.
I mean, there are recent sales as low as $250.
Yikes. If you had an Imperial Seal before this, you're probably sad.
Well, I mean, the one from
So, I mean, that's the foil etched version. What set did the original Imperial Seal
Portal
come out in?
3 Kingdoms.
Portal 3 Kingdoms.
So the Portal version, the original, still has, I mean, it does look like it's come down. But, like, recent sales for the Portal version are, like, $760.
Oh, yeah.
Best offer taken, so I can't tell. Oh, $330. $650. Some graded ones sold for, like, $1,700. Yeah, no, it definitely brought the price down to the original Imperial Seal.
Yeah,
It's rough if you're one of those people.
You know, I don't sound like a jerk, but I don't really feel bad.
Fair enough.
So I don't feel bad for people who like own them and played with them, or who own them for the purpose of playing with them. I feel bad for people who were viewing it as an investment and lost out on their investment. Because that's no difference than putting your money in a stock market and then losing money in the stock market. And I would feel bad for those people.
Yeah, and if you're doing
what's the
that,
difference
though,
here?
if you're doing it, like, having cards solely for that, as soon as they announced it was going to be printed, you would have sold it. And you wouldn't have taken that big of a hit, so...
Right.
Yeah.
No. If that's what I was doing and I was paying attention, then yes.
Mm-hmm.
If you could sell it, because anybody that wants to buy that card probably knows it's getting printed, so...
We could wait.
Yeah.
I'd say pretty much as soon as the announcement came out, you probably are still taking a loss to get rid of it.
Yeah, that's fair.
You probably aren't taking a huge loss if you sell it quickly, but it's one of those things you don't want to hold on to for very long.
All right. So, do we have anything else to add to this discussion, or should we move on?
Don't buy double masters in general. That's my take. Just buy the singles.
But why are you against double masters? Have you had bad luck in double masters?
I have had bad luck.
Oh,
masters.
dude, you should tell this story. I forgot that this wasn't on.
So, just to catch you up,
week.
Dave, I was kind of therapy shopping. So I bought a collector's booster, and then the guy at the store, he's a great salesman. He was like, you could get another one. So I bought another one. Anyway, he ended up talking me into buying 4 of them, which is a box of the collector's booster.
Yeah.
I did not make the money that I spent back on them. It wasn't bad. It was like $230 is what I got. Well, the rares are worth. I didn't do all the other ones or like the notable cards, but
right.
It wasn't like, oh, I'm gonna buy a collector's booster and get super value and a bunch of foil etched stuff. That did not happen with me. So it is definitely gambling. So don't do it.
Yeah, I was in a card shop the Wednesday after it came out, and I was looking at it and I was debating. I was like, should I buy one just to see what happens?
That's what happened with me.
And then I was looking, and they didn't have single packs. They were only selling the boxes.
Oh, oof.
And I was like, I'm not buying a collector's box. That's not happening. I'm not.
Yeah.
I'm not that rich.
What's good is that
I'm not rich at all.
What's good is that I did get some cards that I needed, but I could have just bought them for like $100 instead of $260 or whatever. So you never know.
Nice. I probably will.
Those Masters cards do tend to, at least from what I have paid attention to in the past, appreciate over time.
Yeah.
Because they don't tend to like print those, right? They don't reprint those sets.
Mm-hmm.
And so like the alt art cards and stuff like that, as they get harder and harder to find down the roads, textured foil Wrenn and Six is going to be harder to find 10 years from now than it is right now.
Right.
Yes.
And some of the other good things, just to add, it did bring the prices of a lot of cards down that are used in Modern, which one of the biggest problems with Modern is the price of entry.
It sucks.
It's a good format, but it's a little stale right now. Anyway.
I think all formats are bad formats.
Oh, except Alchemy, because they can balance them on the fly, right?
I think Alchemy is a great idea that the Magic crowd will never embrace.
It'll be 10 years from now.
If you were asking me on paper what the best format is, it's Alchemy because it can be balanced. But like I said, the player base seems to just really not want to embrace that idea at all. And I feel like the standard card pool is too small to make creative, interesting decks out of. I feel like the Modern pool's power level is just too high, and it makes playing Modern kind of degenerative in a way.
And it effectively makes the pool smaller because you have to play the super high-powered cards, specifically Modern Horizons 2 cards. And
that's not even touching, the cost of entry or whatnot.
Right.
I mean, I understand for some people that's not an issue, and for some people it's a big issue, but realistically, the problem with Modern is the power level.
Yeah.
All those matches seem to be decided by turn 3. It's very rare that I see some kind of turnaround. I'm not saying it doesn't happen because it does, but more often than not, by turn 3, who, just because of the power level of those early.
Yeah, cards. I will say that when I'm in a game, I can tell by turn 3 or 4 how it's going to shake out.
So that to me is not fun Magic. That's not interactive Magic. That's not, I don't know. It seems like Pioneer is the best format, but it has the same problem that
standard
Alchemy has, whereas the community just doesn't embrace it in a way. Because Pioneer just, once you've played Modern and then you take your sack lands out of it, Pioneer feels so restrictive.
Yeah.
Your mana base feels so restrictive compared to the way Modern feels. Pioneer just doesn't have that same
consistency
pop to it.
Yeah. Well, yeah, people want to play the big flashy where it's like, oh, yes, I got you. Turn 4, turn 3, turn 2.
Right. But that's people want to play that. I don't. I think that is bad Magic.
I understand that.
Even though I play aggro and my goal is to win by turn 4. And that is my preferred archetype. I also think that in general, Magic is at its best when people get to turn 6 and 7 and the match is still undecided.
Yep. Yeah, there's a lot more decision points.
That makes sense why you like Limited so much, too.
Limited, the only true form of Magic.
As Richard Garfield intended.
Technically not, because there wasn't even a format
right
until later. But
I was memeing because people say that a lot.
I know, and it's don't even get me started, man.
I mean, I understand that there is a level of randomness that goes into limited that people do not like. That is an acceptable argument, but I also think that limited tests your skills better than any other set.
Yep.
Or any other way of playing.
That is factual.
I agree.
I mean, that's
why I'm so bad at it.
Like, anyone can go to MTG Top 8 and look at a deck and build it and play it enough to learn how to pilot it in a tournament.
Yes.
They maybe can't play it at the level that a pro would. They maybe don't understand every interaction, but anybody can go to MTG Top 8 and buy a deck, basically, and go compete somewhere.
Yep.
Speaking of competing, are you guys interested in doing a challenge this week?
Yeah, I would like to throw a challenge out here since I have recently built a red aggro deck in Historic. I would like to challenge you guys also to build a deck in Historic and see who comes out on top.
Okay. So let's do the parameters of this. So you want any deck? Can I just get like a net deck and play you? Or do we have to homebrew it?
I mean, ideally, yes, we would homebrew the deck. That's what we're looking for.
Because as you explained before, anybody can pull a deck off the internet and play it. So, yeah, I would like to brew one. That sounds like fun.
Yeah, I'll see what I can do. There's been some alchemy cards I want to try out in Historic, so see if I can't come up with something.
I'm going to have to really look at this because I have no idea about Historic. So let's, this is fun. I'll do it.
So, have deck lists prepared next week and play next week, or do you want to do?
Yeah, we can play next week. I'm okay with that.
Okay, sweet.
I might rework my list a little bit before then.
Yeah, that's fine.
Gonna play it some more.
And we don't know what the anthology cards coming out are.
That will change things. I might have to. I was going to go for the Explorer one first, but if we're doing this challenge and there's some good Historic, I might get Historic first. Ooh, yeah.
So when are we going to play each other?
Next week on Twitch.
Monday.
Okay. Any specific time?
1 o'clock.
After the podcast, we can do 1 o'clock.
Yeah, I'm good.
We record on Monday. You want to record in the morning and
just roll right into it.
Do the challenge. Do the challenge in the afternoon because I have to stop and eat lunch or I get hangry.
Yeah.
We're going to play them on Twitch 1 o'clock Eastern time and determine the winner.
Excellent.
Yep.
Okay. Well, best of luck, fellas.
And don't forget to tune in. Well, also, I'm going to not have two microphones broadcasting at the same time so that we don't have a problem with audio. And we're going to put this as a video, I think, right?
On our YouTube channel.
Great.
That we have that we never talk about. Now that we've hammered out the challenges, I guess that's the end of the show. Why don't you tell everyone where to find us, Ben? You
can find us on Twitter at MPGPod. You can find me personally, Be Nice MPG. Where can they find you, Moderator Dave?
You can find me on Twitter at Dave_MPG. You can stop looking for other Dave. We've found him. He is safe. So stop sending tips to our email, which is show@magicprovinggrounds.com.
But if you want to send any other magic-related questions or non-magic-related questions to that email, then you can. Feel free.
That's the show. Outro music.
Missed an opportunity there. I should have sent an email. Said I have your co-host.
Hey, I would have been actually scared, I think, if that happened.
You must all play a challenge, my devious challenge, in order to get him back.
Like, sorry, Dave, you're gonna die. I can't win anything.
You must solve Enchant Wordle in order to get him back.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, don't.
Without Scryfall.
No, you're dead, Dave. I'm sorry.
I'm
man.
sorry. Yeah, you're probably dead. Because I was thinking about it. I missed the 15 years of Magic where I didn't play, so those are cards I don't really know. And then I thought about it. It's like I'd probably be good at the older cards, and then the last two that I did was older cards, and I'm like, oh, maybe I'm actually really bad at it. This is a bad game. I mean, it's a good game, but you gotta really know to not.
It's really hard.
Yeah.
It's really hard even when you're using Scryfall. You have to have a system. I think I've developed a pretty good system for doing Enchant Wordle.
Yeah.
But you have to use Scryfall, and you have to because you figure out which one, all the little bits and pieces, and then kind of work it out from there, right?
Yeah.
So
yeah, I've decided that I'm gonna guess until I'm 5 away, and then use Scryfall. I think that's how I'm gonna do it.
Okay. Well, this is how I do it. Okay. So the first thing I guess every time is Joda, Archmage Eternal, because he's a 5-color mana, legendary human wizard, right?
Oh, because it's
So that's going to tell you whether it's a human, which is the most printed race in Magic. It's going to tell you whether it's legendary or a creature, and it's going to tell you whether it's monocolored or multiple colors, right?
Oh.
So that cuts it down to a lot. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So you either know it's a creature or a legendary card, and then I usually go with
Goblin Guide at the beginning every time.
I mean, it's not a bad choice. It's right in the middle, I think, right?
Goblin Guide? He costs 1.
Well, I was talking about the sets. He's somewhere in the middle of the sets. Like, you don't want to guess an alpha card because obviously if it's not that, it's going to be higher.
Yeah. And then also Joda's mana cost is 5. So that's right in the middle of the mana cost.
Yeah.
So you go higher or lower. So I think that's probably the best start out guess. And then depending on what it is, it's some planeswalker or a card from Theros that's a enchantment creature.
Yeah, something weird like that.
Mm-hmm.
It's a neat game though, for sure. There's also another one that's
lame.
guess the art or guess the card based on the art.
No,
that's pretty cool.
I don't know if
I would be better at that one, but
yeah, I feel like I would too because it's visual.
Yeah, true.
Brings back the memories.
You should share that one in the Discord.
Yeah, and we could put it in the show notes too.
Yeah, you should put Enchant Wordle in the show notes too. Wordle. Okay, that's such a mouthful of a name. Anyways,